Chosen one, stop what you are doing. I need your full attention for what comes next. There is something you were never supposed to find out. Not yet, not at this stage, but God has overridden the timeline. He has accelerated what was meant to unfold slowly, and He is revealing it to you right now, in this moment, through this video, because the hour demands it. What you are about to hear was not written for the masses. It was not recorded for background noise. It was encoded for one specific soul, at one specific frequency, at one specific moment in human history. And if you are hearing these words, that soul is yours. This is Oculus of the wise, and you were guided here by something far older and far more intelligent than any algorithm. Before the foundation of the world, before the first star ignited in the silence of the void, before the oceans knew their boundaries or the mountains knew their height, God spoke your name, not the name your parents gave you. A deeper name, a sacred frequency woven into the architecture of creation itself. A frequency that has been dormant inside you for decades, waiting for this exact season to activate. And right now, in this very second, the universe is vibrating at that frequency. You can feel it. That pull in your chest that woke you up this morning, that unexplainable urgency that brought you here, that is not curiosity. That is destiny recognizing its carrier. Something extraordinary is unfolding, not tomorrow, not next year. Now, tonight, the cosmos is shifting beneath the surface of ordinary life. The spiritual atmosphere of this planet is being reorganized, recalibrated, realigned with a purpose that has been sealed for generations, a purpose that is now being unsealed because the chosen ones are finally ready to receive it. And you are standing at the exact center of that shift. You did not stumble onto this video. You were summoned. The same hand that hung every star in its precise orbit, that calibrated the distance between galaxies with accuracy beyond human comprehension, that engineered the exact conditions for life on this planet out of 1 billion possibilities. That hand guided you here, to this moment, to these words. And if you leave before this message is complete, you will miss the one thing your spirit has been waiting to hear. I promise you that. I know what you have been feeling. And I need you to understand that what I am about to describe is not coincidence. It is confirmation. You have been waking up at hours that make no sense. 2 in the morning, 3:17, 4:44, not from nightmares, not from noise, from something inside you that refuses to stay asleep while your spirit is being called to attention. You lie there in the dark and you feel it, a weight, a pull, a knowing that something is about to change and you cannot stop it. The silence around you is loud with purpose. Your old routines feel like wearing someone else's clothes. The entertainment that used to fill your evenings now feels hollow, like eating a meal with no flavor. Conversations that once satisfied you now feel shallow. You find yourself craving depth in a world addicted to surface. You scroll through your phone and feel emptier with every passing minute. You walk through your day and something keeps whispering. This is not what you were made for. There is more. There is so much more. You have noticed something else too. People around you do not feel the same pull. Your spouse, your friends, your co-workers. They go about their lives as if nothing is changing, and that makes you wonder if something is wrong with you. You have questioned your own sanity. You have wondered if you are overthinking everything. You have sat in your car after work, engine running, staring at nothing, feeling the weight of something you cannot put into words. You have looked in the mirror and seen tired eyes staring back at you, eyes that carry decades of responsibilities, sacrifices, quiet battles nobody else knows about. And somewhere behind those eyes, there is a fire that refuses to go out, no matter how many times life has tried to extinguish it. That is not restlessness. That is not a midlife crisis. That is not anxiety. That is the voice of the living God, echoing through the corridors of the universe, reaching into the deepest chamber of your spirit, saying, "Wake up, your time has come." That is the cosmos itself recognizing that you carry a frequency the world desperately needs. You are not falling apart. You are being reconstructed. Every uncomfortable feeling, every restless night, every moment of unexplainable urgency is God dismantling the old version of you to make room for the version He designed before time began. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? That is Isaiah 43:19, and I need you to sit with that question. Do you not perceive it? Because the new thing is not coming. The new thing is here. It is happening inside you right now, whether you recognize it or not. The universe does not wait for your permission to fulfill what God has already ordained. Here is what the Spirit is revealing in this hour, and I say this with the weight of someone who understands the gravity of these words. The world as you know it is entering a period of intense shaking, not just economically, though the economy will tremble, not just politically, though the nations will be unsettled, not just socially, though relationships and communities will be tested in ways no one anticipated. This shaking is fundamentally spiritual. It is the hand of God reaching into the fabric of human civilization and separating what is real from what is counterfeit. What is built on eternal foundations from what is built on the sand of temporary comfort. Systems you trusted will reveal their cracks. Institutions you depended on will show their limitations. People you thought were unshakable will stumble, and in that shaking, only one thing will remain standing: faith. Not religion, not tradition, not performance. Living, breathing, battle-tested faith, rooted in the Word of God and aligned with the frequency of heaven. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. That is Psalm 46:1, and I want you to hear that word, present, not distant, not delayed, not watching from some far corner of the universe, present here. Now, in your living room, in your car, in your sleepless nights, in your overwhelming mornings. He is present. For those who are not spiritually aligned, those who have treated faith like an old coat in the back of the closet, something they keep but never wear, the coming season will feel unbearable. Pressure in their finances, pressure in their health, pressure in their relationships, pressure in their peace of mind. Everything they built their identity on apart from God will be tested, and what cannot survive the fire will burn. Their comfort will turn into confusion. Their certainty will dissolve into questions they never thought to ask, and the emptiness they managed to ignore for years will become a deafening silence they can no longer escape. But you, chosen one, you are not called to fear. You are called to rise. You are not a victim of the shaking. You are the reason it is happening. God is clearing the field so that the ones He has prepared, the ones who said yes when it was hard, the ones who kept praying when the answers did not come, the ones who refused to let bitterness steal their tenderness, can finally step into the roles they were born to fill. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. That is Isaiah 41:10. That is not a suggestion. That is not poetic language. That is a covenant from the mouth of the Creator of every galaxy, every atom, every breath you have ever taken. When the universe itself makes you a promise, you can stand on it. Now I need to tell you something that will change the way you see every person in your life. And I need you to hear this part carefully, because this is where your assignment becomes real. This is where it stops being a feeling and starts becoming a responsibility you cannot walk away from. The lost are returning. Right now, all across this country, People who walked away from God are being pulled back by a force they cannot explain. People who said faith was for the weak, who mocked the very idea of prayer, who built their entire lives on self-reliance and personal achievement, they are waking up, not because life got easy, because the emptiness became too loud, because success without purpose revealed itself as the most sophisticated prison a person can build, because at 2 in the morning, when nobody is watching, the truth you spent years running from finally catches you, and here is your assignment. Chosen one, you are not here to judge them. You are not here to stand at the door with crossed arms and a righteous smirk saying, "I told you so." You are not here to remind them of every mistake they made while they were gone. You are here to welcome them home, to show them that God's love is not something they have to earn back, to prove through your own life that grace is not a concept. It is a living, breathing reality that meets people exactly where they are, no matter how far they wandered. Think about it. You know these people. They are your brother who stopped calling, your daughter who said she does not believe anymore, your old friend who chose the bottle over the Bible, your neighbor who smiles on the outside but is crumbling on the inside, the co-worker who mocks faith in the break room but cries alone in the parking lot. God is not done with any of them, not one. And the reason he kept your heart soft through all these years, the reason he did not let bitterness calcify your compassion, is because he knew this moment was coming. He knew they would need someone who could look at their mess and see a miracle waiting to happen. That someone is you. If this message is stirring something inside you, if you feel the weight of truth pressing against your spirit, I want you to do something right now. Hit that subscribe button. Not because I am asking for numbers, because when you subscribe to this channel, you are marking a line in the sand. You are telling the universe and the God who created it that you are paying attention, that you are not going to scroll past your own awakening and leave a comment. Write the words "I am chosen" in the comment section below. Let that declaration echo in the spiritual realm. Words carry frequency, and when you speak your identity out loud, even in a comment, the heavens take notice and the enemy trembles. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not quench. That is Matthew 12:20. That is the heart of God toward broken humanity. He does not look at the people returning and see failures. He sees treasures that were temporarily misplaced. He sees sons and daughters who wandered but never stopped being his. And your job, your sacred assignment, is to see them the same way. If you turn away from this assignment, if you choose comfort over calling, their blood is not on God's hands. It is on yours. That is not a threat. That is the weight of being chosen. You did not ask for it, but you were built for it, and deep down, you already know that. Now let me tell you about the abundance that is being released over your life in this season, because God does not send his soldiers into battle empty-handed. And I am not talking about what the prosperity preachers sell on television. I am talking about something far more dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. I am talking about supernatural peace in the middle of chaos. Wisdom that arrives at the exact moment you need it, not a second too late. Strength that defies your physical limitations. Doors that open without you knocking. Connections that form without you engineering them. Resources that appear from directions you never anticipated. This is God's economy, and it operates on a frequency the world cannot access. The universe is not random. Every particle, every wave of light, every force of nature operates within a system of intentional design, and that same intentionality governs your life. Every setback you survived was not wasted. Every season of waiting was not empty. Every tear you shed in silence was collected and counted and transformed into strength you did not know was being built inside you. That promotion you did not get in 2014. It redirected you. That relationship that fell apart when you were 32. It freed you, that health scare that brought you to your knees. It humbled you in exactly the way you needed to be humbled. That financial crisis that kept you awake for months, it taught you to depend on something greater than a bank account. None of it was wasted. God does not waste pain. The universe does not produce meaningless suffering. Every single thing you endured was curriculum. You were enrolled in a school you did not choose, studying lessons you did not understand, preparing for an assignment you could not yet see. But the graduation day has arrived, and everything you learned in the dark is about to be deployed in the light. Every act of obedience was a brick. Every choice to trust God when you could not see the path was a foundation stone. Every moment you pushed through fear instead of surrendering to it was a beam of steel reinforcing a structure the world cannot see yet, but will see very soon. And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus. That is Philippians 4:19. That is provision. That is a cosmic guarantee from the architect of the universe, who has never once failed to keep his word, not once in the history of creation. Not once. But here is what you must do to walk in that provision. You must release the weights. Fear, the constant worry about tomorrow that steals the power of today, doubt. That voice that whispers God's promises are for other people, better people, more qualified people. Pride, the need to do everything in your own strength because asking for help feels like failure. Comparison, measuring your chapter 3 against someone else's chapter 20. The desperate need to be validated by people who do not understand your calling and never will. Release it, all of it. You have been carrying some of these weights for 20, 30, 40 years. They have become so familiar, they feel like part of who you are, but they are not you. They are chains disguised as personality traits. They are prison walls you decorated so well you forgot you were locked inside. God is handing you the key right now. The question is whether you will use it or hang it on the wall next to everything else. You were too afraid to change. You cannot carry kingdom authority and earthly anxiety at the same time. You cannot walk in divine purpose while dragging the chains of self-doubt behind you. The two frequencies cancel each other out. Heaven cannot amplify a signal that you keep jamming with your own interference. You must choose. And chosen one, this choice is not tomorrow's problem, it is tonight's decision, because every hour you delay, someone who needed your light sits in darkness 1 hour longer. The end of the ordinary has arrived in your life, not the end of routine, the end of meaningless routine, not the end of effort. The end of effort without purpose. You are not designed for mediocrity that settles for good enough. You were not created to spend your remaining years going through the motions, counting the days, watching the clock, waiting for something to change while doing nothing to change it. You were designed for greatness. And let me be clear about what greatness means, because the world has poisoned that word. Greatness is not fame that fades the moment the next headline drops. Greatness is faithfulness that remains consistent decade after decade. It is not applause from crowds. It is impact that changes a life, that shifts an atmosphere, that alters someone's eternity. It is service that costs you something, your time, your comfort, your reputation, possibly relationships that cannot follow you into your next season. That is the price. And if you are still listening, if you have not clicked away, it is because your spirit already agreed to pay it. The part of you that God speaks to directly just nodded, and that agreement cannot be undone. But greatness without protection is a death sentence. So let me arm you. In all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one. That is Ephesians 6:16. That is not symbolic language. That is military-grade spiritual instruction. That is battlefield strategy from the commander of the armies of heaven. Faith is not passive. Faith is not sitting in a pew once a week and hoping things work out. Faith is an active, aggressive, deliberate defense against every attack aimed at your mind, your emotions, your peace, your family, your purpose, your destiny. Faith is a weapon, and you have been trained to use it. Every Sunday you showed up when you did not feel like it. Every prayer you whispered through tears when God felt distant. Every time you chose forgiveness when revenge would have been easier. Every time you bit your tongue when the world deserved your fury. That was training. That was boot camp for the spirit. That was God building a warrior out of a worshipper, forging resilience in the furnace of your daily surrender. You did not understand it then. You thought you were just surviving. But heaven was watching and taking notes, and the report says you are ready. The storms ahead will be fierce. I will not insult your intelligence by telling you otherwise. Some of what is coming will test you in ways you have not been tested before, but your faith must be fiercer than the storms. Your trust must be deeper than the uncertainty. Your obedience must be more persistent than the setbacks. And the God who holds the universe together by the word of his power will hold you together in the middle of every single storm. Strengthen your faith now, while there is still time. Feed it with the word, nourish it with worship, surround it with people who sharpen it instead of dulling it, protect it from voices that mock it, from environments that suffocate it, from distractions that drain it. Guard what God placed inside you, because what he deposited in your spirit is not just for you. It is for your children. It is for your grandchildren. It is for your community. It is for the generation that comes after you. It is for someone whose breakthrough, whose healing, whose salvation depends entirely on whether you show up and fulfill your assignment. If you neglect what God placed inside you, it does not just hurt you, it robs them, and they will never know what they lost, because they will never know what you were supposed to give them. That thought alone should make you grip your calling tighter than you have ever gripped anything in your life. I want you to do one more thing for me. If this message has reached the deepest part of you, if you know in your bones that these words were meant for your ears, tap that like button right now, not as a casual gesture, as an act of spiritual agreement, as a declaration that you received what was spoken over your life today. And if you have not subscribed yet, this is your sign. Every video on this channel is designed to awaken, to equip, to strengthen the chosen ones who are rising in this generation. You do not want to miss what is coming next. Now listen to me and let your spirit answer this question honestly, without filters, without pretense, without the version of yourself you perform for the outside world. Will you answer this call? Will you release the fear that has kept you manageable, the doubt that has kept you small, the comfort zones that have kept you safe but spiritually starving? Will you step fully into the assignment that has been following you your entire life? The one you felt at 17, the one you ran from at 25, the one that whispered to you at 40 when you thought it was too late, the one that is roaring at you right now with a volume you can no longer ignore. Because I need you to understand what is at stake. This is not just about you. There is a child somewhere who will not hear the truth unless you speak it. There is a marriage somewhere that will not survive unless you model what faith-filled love looks like. There is a community somewhere that will not be healed unless you show up with the gift that God placed in your hands decades ago. Your obedience is not optional. It is oxygen for someone who is suffocating right now and does not even know you exist yet. The ripple effect of your yes will reach places your feet will never touch. The consequence of your silence will echo in ways that should terrify you into action. You were not brought through 40, 50, 60 years of battles, losses, broken promises, sleepless nights, hospital waiting rooms, empty bank accounts, and shattered relationships just to give up now. You were not carried through every single valley just to sit down at the edge of your promised land and say, I cannot do this. You were brought here to stand when others fall. You were brought here to speak when others go silent. You were brought here to lead when others hide. You were brought here to shine, not with your own manufactured light that burns out when circumstances shift, but with the light of the one who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. The light that does not flicker, the light that does not dim, the light that has been burning since before the universe drew its first breath and will keep burning long after the last star goes dark. The revolution has begun. The cosmos is rearranging itself around the purpose God placed inside you before you were born. The frequency of heaven is rising across this nation, across this planet. The chosen ones are awakening in every city, every town, every quiet home where someone is watching this and feeling their spirit catch fire for the first time in years, or maybe for the first time ever. You are part of it. You have always been part of it. Every breath you have taken was leading to this. Every year you survived was preparation for this. There is no version of your story where this moment does not exist. God wrote it into your timeline before the universe had a single atom to its name. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your call. The only question that remains is the one that every star, every angel, every force in the invisible realm has been waiting for you to answer since the day you were formed in your mother's womb. Will you rise?